Hi, welcome to Snory's, a children's bedtime podcast hosted by your Snory godmothers. I'm Marcia Gay Harden, and I love sleep.
And I'm Natalie Peyton. I love sleep too. Thanks for joining us.
Time to settle in, snuggle up, put your head on the pillow, and get ready for your Snory's bedtime ritual. First, we start with mindful talk.
Mindful talk is when we say nice things to ourselves. As your Snory godmothers, we're here to remind you that you belong and you're so precious.
When you say kind words to yourself at bedtime, your confidence increases and positive things happen in your lives, which makes you happy.
I love being happy. And as we always say, it's important to focus on the good stuff. Let's think about all you did today. Did you read a book? Did you say good morning and good night? Did you eat a healthy lunch?
Whatever you did today, we know that you did your best. So pat yourself on the back and know how proud your Snory godmothers are of you. Will you join me in today's affirmations?
Repeat after your Snory godmother, Marcia. Say it quietly or say it in your mind. But don't just say it, kiddos. Really feel it and experience the energy of the words.
I'm unique.
You are perfect, just the way you are.
I am proud of myself.
Of course you are. Look at all you can do.
I value all different kinds of people.
That's so cool, because no matter who you are or what you look like, everyone is worthy of love.
I am accepted.
Yes, you belong. And here's your Snory science tip. When you have a sense of belonging, it has a huge impact on how you feel, who you are, and how good your mind feels. This makes you less anxious, and being less anxious helps you sleep better.
I am beautifully and wonderfully made.
Yes, you are. You are beautifully and wonderfully made, kiddos. And you will learn more about this in today's Snory, the Ugly Duckling. We're almost to the Snory, but first, we want to help you get all your wiggles out. We do this by grounding with your surroundings and focusing on our senses. What we can touch and feel, see, hear, smell, and even taste. Today, we're going to use our breath as a guide and take 5 deep breaths together. Let's try it. Take a deep breath in and feel your body snuggled up in your bed, letting your body relax even more as you breathe out. Now breathe in, and as you breathe out, notice any pictures or art on your walls. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe out, be aware of what you can hear. Good. Now take another deep breath in through your nose and notice what you smell as you breathe out. Take one last breath in through your mouth, tasting the air, then let it all out. Your head is clear and your body is relaxed. So now that you're grounded, turn on your imagination and enjoy the Snory.
Our Snory today is based on an original tale by a man named Hans Christian Andersen. He lived in a little cottage on a cobblestone street in Denmark. He wrote many stories, but this one, The Ugly Duckling, has always been the Snory godmother's favorite. The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful forest with a deep blue pond. In the summer, the burdock trees which surrounded the pond made lovely shade with their big leaves. The cattails and the marsh grass were golden, and white lilies bloomed on the water. The ducks and the blue heron, the eagle and the geese, all swam with their families on the pond. One summer, a young mother duck sat on her nest made of thrush and grasses. The nest had 7 beautiful eggs in it. She waited patiently day and night for her babies to hatch, and she kept peeking at the eggs to see if they were changing. One day, as she was sitting on her nest of eggs, the mother duck felt something move beneath her. Quack, 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 quack. Filled with happiness, the mother duck watched as one by one her eggs hatched. From each egg came a little living creature that lifted its head and cried, "Peep, peep." "Quack, quack," said the mother, and they all quacked as best they could. "How large the world is," said the young ducks. "Oh, do you imagine this is the whole world?" asked the mother. "Wait till you see the rest of the pond." She was so excited to lead her children to the pond and teach them all the ways of being a duck. Unfortunately for the mother duck, there was still one egg left to hatch. This egg was larger than the rest. This egg was browner than the rest. Her little ducks impatiently waited for 2 more days and nights, but the egg did not crack. "I want to go to the pond, Mother," one baby duck quacked. "Let's go, let's go," 2 more quacked excitedly. But the mother duck made them all wait, for she promised herself that she would love all her children the same. At sunrise on the 3rd day of waiting, the large brown egg began to vibrate. It wiggled and shook as all of the ducks watched in awe. Then suddenly, crack! Out from the large brown egg popped a big, strange-looking head of a bird that didn't look much like a duck. This baby's beak was a little too long, his feathers were a little too scruffy, and his face was a little too ugly. The mother duck exclaimed, "This is not like the other ducks. I wonder if this little fellow is a turkey. It's sort of funny looking." But nonetheless, the mother duck promised herself that she would love all her children the same. She led her children into the nearby pond and began to teach each duckling how to be a proper duck. First, the mother duckling taught them how to swim. She took her young brood down to the water and jumped in with a splash. One after another, the little ducklings jumped in. The water closed over their heads, but they came up again in an instant and swam about quite prettily, with their legs paddling under them as easily as possible. And the ugly duckling was also in the water swimming with them. "Well, he's definitely not a turkey," said the mother. "See how well he uses his legs and how upright he holds himself? He is my own child, and he's not so very ugly after all if you look at him properly." Next, she taught them how to quack. Each duckling quacked, "Quack, quack, quack, quack." Then the ugly duckling quacked, "Quack, quack." All the other ducks in the pond stared at the ugly duckling and began to laugh. The grown-up wood ducks pointed their wings at the ugly duckling, and their children did the same, teasing the ugly duckling and the mother duck and her new little family. So the mother duckling sadly took her little family over to a different part of the pond. But now her own children started giggling and making fun of the ugly one. Then 2 nearby ducks swam by and pecked at the ugly duckling's feathers. "This one looks nothing like your others," one jested. This one is ugly," the other scoffed. "Your other ducklings are pretty." The poor ugly duckling hung his head in shame. The mother duckling felt sorry for him, but now she was also becoming a little bit embarrassed of her ugly duckling, and she was worried for him, so she made him stay in the corner of the pond while the others practiced swimming, diving, quacking, and splashing. "You are unique," she said, "and I love you just as much as I love my other children, but they will bully you because you're different from them. I'm sorry." She was trying to protect him, but it hurt his feelings to be all alone while the others played. One evening, as all of the ducks in the pond had gone to sleep, the ugly duckling decided that it was time for him to leave. He knew he was causing his mother distress, and he did not want to live in a place where he felt unwanted. So the little ugly duckling ran away. He waddled far away from the pond where he was born. He waddled through some marsh plants and large river reeds. He waddled over bundles of sticks and piles of dung. All this waddling made him dirtier than ever. He approached a new pond that was filled with a family of different ducks. These ducks were happily swimming and quacking. He waddled over to one of the ducklings, who looked to be just a little bit larger and older than the ugly duckling. "Maybe I can finally have a friend." "Hello there," beamed the ugly duckling to the other duckling. With this, the new family of ducks turned and stared at the ugly duckling. "And who are you?" asked the mother duck. "What are you?" asked the father duck. "You sure are ugly," all the ducklings chimed in. As this family of ducks began to quack and laugh at the ugly duckling, he waddled off again in search of a nicer family to call his own. He waddled far away from the pond with the family of ducks. He waddled through small marsh plants and large river reeds. He waddled over bundles of sticks and piles of dung. All this waddling made him even dirtier than before. Next, the ugly duckling came to an even larger pond filled with a family of geese. The goslings, those are the baby geese, were a brown-gray, just like he was. Happily, the ugly duckling waddled to the water's edge, plopped his little body in the water, and swam toward the family of geese. He swam toward one of the goslings, who looked even larger and grayer than him. "Maybe now I can finally have a friend." "Hello there," the ugly duckling exclaimed happily, greeting the gosling. With this, the family of geese turned and stared at the ugly duckling. "Oh, look who's out and about. And who are you, eh?" asked the mother goose. "Yeah, what are you, eh?" asked the father goose. "Oh, yeah, you sure are ugly," the goslings chimed in. Then the family of geese, these are of course Canadian geese, began to honk and laugh at the ugly duckling. But before the duckling could waddle off, the geese surrounded him, and the father goose said, "Though you're quite strange looking, you may stay with us. You're more than welcome to join our family." The ugly duckling couldn't be happier. The geese were very kind to him, though their honks hurt his ears. Honk, honk, honk. Many days and nights passed, and the ugly duckling was living happily with the Canadian geese. He loved to play with the goslings, and the mother and father treated him just like their own. Everything was perfect until a hunter and his basset hound approached the pond. The hunter began firing off shots from his rifle at the geese, and the hound chased the birds around the pond trying to catch one. The ugly duckling could do nothing but sit still. He was so scared. Soon the hound approached him, sniffed for a while, and cocked his head. "Ruff, ruff, ruff. What are you?" "Ha, you sure are ugly," it said, before it ran off in search of a real goose. When the hunter finally left, all the geese were gone. So the ugly duckling sadly waddled off once more. He was growing larger. His feathers were coming in so that he would be able to fly off the ground. However, the ugly duckling had become very weak and hungry. He did not have enough strength to fly. Instead, he waddled his way to a small house where he took shelter during the night. In the morning, the ugly duckling awoke to the sounds of human chatter right above him. "Well, what is it?" an old woman asked. A duck, perhaps?" her husband replied. "Oh, wonderful! Just what we've needed," the woman exclaimed. With that, the farmer and his wife allowed the ugly duckling to live with them in the hopes that the duck would lay eggs for them to eat. They waited and waited and waited, but nothing happened. The ugly duckling never laid eggs. He did, however, grow larger and harder to take care of. Though the farmer and his wife had grown fond of the ugly duckling, they had no more room for him in their house, and so, sorrowfully, they shooed him out. "Go find yourself a family that will love you," shouted the farmer sadly as he shut the door. The ugly duckling hung his head and waddled far away from the farmer's house. It was winter. There was snow on the ground. He waddled through now frozen marsh plants and large frozen river reeds. He waddled over frozen bundles of sticks and frozen piles of dung. All this waddling made him colder than ever. So he sat down in the tall marsh grass, tired and exhausted, and fell asleep in the cold. When he woke up, he felt the warm sun shining and heard the lark singing, and he saw that all around was beautiful spring. Miraculously, the ugly duckling had survived the cold winter. With spring, soon all of the frozen ponds melted and the frost evaporated from the marsh plants and river reeds. The apple trees were in full blossom, and the fragrant elders bent their long green branches down to the stream. It was beautiful. But the ugly duckling was still sad because he was alone. One day, he approached a crystal-clear pond and saw a family of the most beautiful birds he'd ever seen, swans. As he sat by the water's edge, he didn't even dare to ask these birds if he could join, for he knew that if he was too ugly to live with ducks, geese, and humans, he was surely too ugly to live with a gorgeous bevy of swans. Suddenly, a swan gracefully glided through the water over to where the ugly duckling was sitting. My, your feathers are the whitest I've ever seen. How they gleam in the sun," the swan exclaimed to the ugly duckling. "You are beautiful." Confused, the ugly duckling wandered to the water and peered at his reflection. No one had ever called him beautiful before. He stared, and he stared at himself. Much to his surprise, he was not an ugly duckling, for he was not a duck at all. He was a beautiful white swan with a long and elegant neck. He entered the water and joined his new family. They accepted him at once. And the little swan, who used to be known as the ugly duckling, realized that he had been beautiful all along. He realized that in life, people change and grow, but that beauty is always living deep inside of us. The end.
Now it's time to calm your body down. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Feel your body on the bed. Let your bed give you a big hug. And when I name them, focus on each of your body parts and relax them. Let's start with the tippy top. Relax the top of your head. Think about your forehead and relax it. Raise your eyebrows and lower your eyebrows. Relax your eyeballs. Close and open your eyes. Relax your nose. Wrinkle your nose. Relax your cheeks. Release your jaw. Open your mouth super wide and gently close your mouth. Think about your ears. Relax them. And your mouth, your chin, your neck. Relax your shoulders. Let them melt into the bed. Now your arms, your hands. Now squeeze your hands and release them. Relax your chest, your tummy. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs and belly with fresh oxygen, and then release it. We are traveling through our body, relaxing each part. Now, focus on your hips. Wiggle into your bed. Think about the top of your legs, which are called the thighs, and relax them. Now your knees, the bottom of your legs, called the calves, your ankles, encircle your ankles. Relax your feet and wiggle each of your toes. Squeeze your toes into your feet and release them. Take another deep breath in and breathe in more air and a little more and release it. Think about how your body feels. Calm your body down. And now, your whole body is relaxed.
Sweet dreams. Sleep tight and know that everything's going to be all right.